Feb24 news, Trump's support for Russia's economy? A shocking shift after 3 years of war in Ukraine. Introduction. As the war in Ukraine enters its third year, geopolitical shifts and economic turbulence continue to shape global affairs. Former U.S. President Donald Trump, who has remained a highly influential figure in American politics, has once again entered the global discourse. Speculation is growing that Trump may have indirectly given Russia's economy a lifeline. The mere suggestion of his potential return to power or a shift in U.S. policy under his influence has sent ripples through international markets and diplomatic circles. Could Trump's stance signal an unexpected turn in the ongoing conflict? The state of Russia's economy after 3 years of war. Since Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, the Russian economy has endured unprecedented sanctions from the West. The United States and its allies imposed measures targeting Russia's banking sector, energy exports, and technology access. While these restrictions initially dealt severe blows, Russia's economy has demonstrated surprising resilience. High oil and gas prices, alternative trade partnerships with China, India, and Middle Eastern nations, and a self-sufficient industrial sector have allowed Moscow to weather much of the financial storm. However, cracks are beginning to show. The prolonged war effort has strained resources, military spending has surged, and inflation remains a persistent concern. The Russian ruble has seen fluctuations, and despite state-controlled narratives, economic hardships have affected citizens' daily lives. In this fragile environment, any potential policy shift from the West could significantly alter Russia's economic trajectory. Trump's position on the Ukraine war. Trump has been vocal about his views on the Russia-Ukraine war, frequently criticizing President Joe Biden's handling of the conflict. He has suggested that the war would not have occurred had he been in office and has hinted at a swift resolution should he return to the presidency. Trump's statements, often interpreted as isolationist, suggest a potential rollback of U.S. support for Ukraine, which could shift the balance of power in the ongoing war. While Trump has not explicitly stated any intention to aid Russia, his rhetoric and potential policy changes have created a sense of optimism within certain economic and political circles in Moscow. If Trump were to reduce military and financial aid to Ukraine, it could weaken Ukraine's resistance while indirectly easing pressure on Russia's war economy. Economic signals and market reactions. The financial world closely watches the political landscape in the United States. The mere possibility of Trump's return to the White House has already influenced international markets. Russian stocks, which have struggled under sanctions, saw minor but notable upswings following Trump's recent comments on foreign policy. The commodities market, particularly oil and gas, also responded. Trump has historically been favorable toward energy independence and less aggressive on sanctions compared to his Democratic counterparts. This has led some analysts to speculate that Russian energy exports could benefit from a potential shift in U.S. policy. Additionally, several Russian business elites and policymakers have made statements suggesting optimism about a change in American leadership. Some have even started positioning themselves for a post-Biden global order, anticipating that a Trump presidency might bring about relaxed economic restrictions or diplomatic negotiations favorable to Russia. What this means for Ukraine and Europe. For Ukraine, a potential change in U.S. leadership could present a dire scenario. The nation relies heavily on Western military aid, financial assistance, and strategic backing. If Trump were to win in 2024 and scale down support, Ukraine's defensive capabilities could be compromised, giving Russia a stronger position on the battlefield. Moreover, Europe would face a new reality. The European Union has largely aligned itself with the Biden administration's approach to Ukraine, emphasizing sanctions and military aid. However, if Trump reverts to an America First strategy, European nations may be forced to take on greater responsibility in supporting Ukraine both militarily and financially. This could test the unity of the EU, as differing opinions on handling the conflict could emerge among member states. Potential scenarios for the future. As the situation unfolds, several possible scenarios could emerge. Trump returns to power and alters U.S. foreign policy. If Trump wins the 2024 election, he may push for negotiations between Russia and Ukraine. While this could lead to a diplomatic resolution, it could also mean Ukraine making territorial concessions, a move that Kyiv has strongly opposed. Furthermore, if U.S. military aid is reduced, Ukraine could struggle to sustain its defense. Western unity remains intact despite Trump's policies. Even if Trump scales back U.S. involvement, European nations might step up their support for Ukraine. This would require stronger commitments from Germany, France, and other NATO allies. However, the economic burden of prolonged military support could strain European economies. Russia capitalizes on the situation. A shift in U.S. policy under Trump could embolden Russia. If sanctions are relaxed or diplomatic negotiations favor Moscow, Russia may feel less pressure to de-escalate its military efforts. This could prolong the war, with Ukraine facing even greater challenges, economic repercussions for the global market if the US reduces involvement in the conflict. Global markets could experience significant shifts. Energy prices might stabilize or even decline if Russian exports face fewer restrictions. However, prolonged uncertainty could still lead to volatility in commodities and currency markets. Trump's influence, a game changer or just political rhetoric? It is important to distinguish between political rhetoric and actionable policy. While Trump's statements have already influenced market sentiment, his actual policies, should he return to office, remain uncertain. Historically, Trump has been unpredictable in his foreign policy approach, often taking abrupt decisions that deviate from conventional strategies. Moreover, any policy changes would face challenges from Congress, the international community, and domestic opposition. Even within the Republican Party, opinions on Ukraine and Russia are divided, with some advocating continued support for Kyiv while others lean toward an isolationist approach. Conclusion: as the third anniversary of the Ukraine war approaches, the global political and economic landscape remains in flux. Trump's growing influence and potential return to power have added another layer of uncertainty to an already complex situation. Whether his stance will truly provide a lifeline to Russia's economy or merely shift global dynamics remains to be seen. For now, Ukraine, Europe, and the world watch closely, anticipating the next moves in this high-stakes geopolitical chess game. The coming months will be crucial in determining whether Trump's policies, should he return to power, will indeed reshape the future of the conflict, or if this is simply another chapter in the ongoing saga of global political maneuvering.